4090 performance at 549.
Yes, $550 is insane for 4090 levels of performance for us gamers and content creators. And I'll tell you how Nvidia is achieving this in just a minute. But before we do, I just want to say thank you so much to Best Buy Canada for sponsoring this video and Nvidia for the hospitality, actually allowing me to go in their suite and film, because this was a literal dream come true. All right, today we're going to the Nvidia event, the Nvidia conference, the Nvidia press suite, the Nvidia LAN party. We're going to everything Nvidia. So this is gonna actually be kind of crazy because this is the first time that I'm actually, going to one of these like public global launches, and then I have VIP access at Nvidia. So this is gonna be kind of crazy. I just hope everything goes smoothly. And yeah, right now we're just on the strip walking around. I mean, this place is actually crazy. Like I don't know how people do this every day. It's just insane. Like my brain can't even comprehend. I had to walk for like an hour just to find a Dunkin' Donuts. So, I mean, all right, so this whole week has been a crazy journey, and the footage that I'm about to show you has been spread out through the last couple of days. There was the Nvidia LAN event, which was the first thing that I attended, the Nvidia Keynote, which was wild to see in person. It was a completely packed stadium, and later I went to the Fontainebleau, however you say it, and we actually got to experience the products hands-on and had a private tour. So I guess let's just start with the LAN event. Now, this was really cool. Basically, Nvidia hosted a private LAN party for people to come in, bring their own PCs and equipment, and just spend time gaming. They had lots of vendors around showcasing their products in relation to Nvidia, one of them being Asus, which was really cool to see. And the team there gave us some demos, which I thought were really cool. My favorite out of them was actually GeForce Now. And like, okay, I know what you're thinking, game streaming. Why? I was actually in the exact same boat. I tried it earlier when it was released in beta, and I didn't really have a great experience for it. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't say that I ever really saw the potential in it. It's not something that I ever necessarily thought I would use myself, but having hands-on with this now changed my mind entirely about it. The thing is that when it comes to these demos, it's always like a best case scenario, but this was the complete opposite. I mean, we were in a busy, packed hotel, Mandalay Bay Convention Center. It had a ton of foot traffic and network load, and the gaming experience using GeForce Now, it was completely unimpacted by it. It was actually just genuinely very hard to tell that the game that I was playing was not playing locally on the device. Like, it was just streaming over the internet. I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on a literal Chromebook, a gaming Chromebook, mind you, but it was not playing on device. But no, I know this video is sponsored by Best Buy and all, and I'm here at this Nvidia event, but it was just kind of crazy to see, and I think that this is something that I'm actually going to be using in the future. Like, I'm someone that cares a lot about input latency, I care a lot about performance, and just using GeForce Now on these devices like the Logitech Cloud, like that Chromebook, and even a Mac Mini, yeah, like you can take this thing anywhere and just play the games that you want and own, which I think is really cool. Oh, and also GeForce Now is coming to the Meta Quest, which is crazy. It's coming to Vision Pro, and it's actually coming to the Steam Deck. 6 more games were also added, including Marvel Rivals, which is great because it's something that's super popular. And on select devices, it can do 4K at up to 60 frames per second with HDR10 support as well. Now, the LAN event was just such a cool thing to experience, and unfortunately, I didn't have too much time to spend there because we did need to get a move on. We had to go to the Nvidia Keynote, which was just another thing that left me speechless about this. And I feel like I'm gonna say speechless and mind-blowing a lot in this video, but look, this is my first time in Vegas, it's my first time at CES, and it's my first time attending anything Nvidia. And on top of that, seeing all of this cool stuff get announced that I genuinely just really love and enjoy, well, I don't know, it felt surreal. And anyways, like, I knew Nvidia was a really big part of CES, but I guess it didn't just click in my head like how big this Nvidia keynote was actually gonna be. Like, the line was massive. There had to have been over 20,000 plus people lined up because the arena seats 12,000 and it was packed to the brim. Now, I did actually get VIP for this event, which was really cool. I got to skip the line, I got a purple sticker on my CES badge, and I had a front row seat, a literal front row seat to this event. Though I think memories like this are much better made with friends, so I did move up to see everyone and get a better shot for you guys. There's actually a really viral TikTok that got posted with a similar clip that I showed you in the beginning with the whole 4090 performance for $550, and that was actually shot by Jenson, who's sitting right here beside me. Like, 20 million people got to hear us geek out over this, and I think it's actually insane. Now, live in the flesh, we got to watch Jenson Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, announce the RTX 5070, 5070 Ti, 5080, and 5090 GPUs. We also got to see DLSS 4 with multi-frame generation, and we were also shown full ray tracing with neural rendering, and some other really cool stuff that I'll get to in just a second. But what I want to talk about for a second is the pricing. Now, I was actually genuinely really impressed that Nvidia was able to keep a competitive price considering these new cards are improved in every single way. The 5090, the flagship GPU, is $1,999 for the Founder Edition, but it's almost exactly double in every single way when compared to the 5080. And oh my god, do I just want this thing in my hands right now. By the way though, if you are curious about the RTX 50 series, you actually can go ahead and check them out on Best Buy Canada's website. They're releasing on the 30th of January, and Best Buy Canada is actually the exclusive retail vendor in Canada for the Founders Edition graphics cards. They will obviously also have cards from other vendors like Asus and MSI and so on, but in Canada, the only place you can get these Founders Edition cards, the one they showed at the event, is from Best Buy Canada. Now, I think for me, the 5080 is the sweet spot. At $999, the value that you're getting is only going to be beaten out by the 5090 and nothing else in the market. Though the 5070 is a really compelling card, especially with DLSS 4.0, which is unbelievable. And when I laid my eyes on what this advanced AI technology is doing for Nvidia, I just lit up like a kid in a candy store. Now, Jenson also touched on robotics with Nvidia's agentic AI and Project Digits, the AI supercomputer, which can quite literally fit in the palm of your hand. And I was just super excited when I found out that the next day I'd be attending the Fontainebleau to actually go and see these products in person. I got to see the robots, which was super cool. One of them was literally just walking around the lobby. The NVLink GB200, which is a massive supercomputer stack using the Grace Blackwell chip. And of course, the thing that you all are watching can actually purchase for yourself, the RTX 50 series cards. They were everywhere throughout this booth, in the lobby, in the private rooms, and inside of the machines giving us the demos. We took a look at GeForce Now on the Quest 3, which was amazing to play with a controller. You actually feel really immersed, and like I said, there's literally no input latency. So to have a giant screen in front of you, playing the games that you love, on this headset wirelessly, it's just really cool. We were also shown a bunch of demos, like how the 5090 with its 3 encoders can handle 10-bit 422 footage, which is what everyone is shooting on now flawlessly. They had 9 4K streams playing simultaneously off each other with export times that are not even in the realm of being comparable, since the 4090 literally did not have any 422 encoders. Nvidia Broadcast Now also has an AI studio light feature where you do not need to use your own key lights. You can just use Nvidia's software in the studio app, and the result was actually just really good. But I will say, out of every demo, which there was a ton and they were all really impressive, for me what stole the show was DLSS 4.0. Now, there's a demo running a 4090 with Black Myth Wukong, and it was running at 30 frames per second in 4K on max settings with ray tracing on the 4090, but on the 5090, it was running same settings with DLSS 4.0 at over 300 frames per second. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, it's DLSS, it's upscaling, it's doing all this, it's gonna add all this artifacting. No. There was, like I said, no input latency. There was no way to tell between the two. If you had put me blindfolded, just looking at the image on the screen, I honestly would have said the one with DLSS looked better because things like the smoke effects, water effects were just better because of the AI upscaling features. So their 8 times performance statement, I mean, it's actually true. And like I said, there was nothing that was noticeable. And the thing that's crazy about that is that Nvidia isn't actually rendering all of the frames. Like, only a chunk of the pixels are being rendered by the GPU, and then it's actually skipping 3 frames ahead using AI frame generation. So half of what you're seeing, if not more than half, is being completely generated by AI. Now, what's cool about this is that when it comes to, say, lower wattage things like the RTX 5080 inside of a thin and light notebook like the G14 OLED, you get some really crazy metrics. Like, when it comes to thin and lights, thermals are a constraint. The wattage of the GPU needs to be brought down by a lot to keep it from throttling, and it's just not near desktop performance with a high-end system at times. With DLSS 4.0, it just doesn't make any sense as to how a thin and light laptop is pushing these numbers. All I can say is that from my experience playing on this, I see DLSS 4.0 being a tool, something that I'm actually going to use all the time. And even just going back to DLSS 3, playing games like Call of Duty, there was noticeable input latency. That is completely gone now. So now, of course, I'm going to favor the frame rate and the ability to have things like ray tracing, but still max out my monitor's refresh rate. And man, like, I had so much fun with this. Like, I'm just a huge nerd. Gaming PCs are how I got my start into tech. And when it comes to Nvidia, they're the first and only GPU that I've ever owned in my life, and they've never let me down. Attending this, like I said, was just a dream come true. And I will never forget this moment, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for it. So thank you, Nvidia, and thank you, Best Buy Canada, once again. Anyways, if you like this one, leave a like and a sub to the channel down below. I'll see you all in the next one. And if you've watched all the way through, drop a green heart emoji. And that's all. Peace out.